Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30 this Friday, December 26th. Little squeeze day between Christmas and the weekend. And so far the market has just not done a whole lot of anything. We started off looking to buy weakness, rotations back up. So far we got a pretty good move to the upside. To get started, I thought we had at least a shot at repeating what we have been doing the last few days. Didn't quite develop that way. So we're looking at you see they had a couple of days here, nice moves here, squeeze moves to the upside. Today, though, they started, actually got me sucked in on one trade, and then they just kind of got stuck here. They didn't quite sell off, but they didn't either start any rally to the upside. So the trades I took there so far, went early on this morning. I had one trade, a short trade on the first rotation up here. Then it was a quick scalp, was shaking out of that one. And then I got myself in trouble here on that trade here. As they were starting to take this higher, I got in, kind of expecting the same kind of a move, light volume kind of squeeze to the upside. He repaired it once at that lower end of the range. They repaired it one more time in the mean, and that's like, and they low ticked me on that kind. You see that the low tick? That's absolutely crazy. Then they bounced right back up again. It would have been worth scratching the trade. I could have scratched that trade at that point. But no, I was out and I was down like 100 some bucks on that thing. That was kind of sucked. And I took another trade here on the rotation back, expecting like at least a retest to the low, and I got in on that one. Had a pretty good trade going in there. They took out the lows, and then of course they retraced hard enough to stop me out. Even if I wasn't that aggressive on the stop, but they stopped me out anyway. And then they took it one little bit leg lower. So I got a good chunk of money back on that trade, and I tried one more trade later on here. It's been kind of volatile like that. I was expecting at least them running it down to the next level down, but no, that just did not happen at all. And on the ES, then I took one more trade on the ES, and that was later here at the lower end when G period GH was they were trying to take this lower. It was before I print, so it was before this rotation. So I got long here. I added one here, and rode that thing higher. I thought I had a really good trade to getting back up to a tablet would be the conservative one. I thought I was going to get to the mean, but they stopped and they retraced and stopped me out. So I got a little bit more back on that one, but not enough. So I'm done 70 bucks on those 7 round turns. Since then, I haven't done anything. I was kind of like, yeah, the market kind of died off. It's been sitting here in the middle, just going back and forth. So okay, didn't do much with it. This rotation down here, I was almost tempted to get long on this one. It felt very much like a fake out move, but you never know. So I had to kind of give it some room. And then, of course, I was a little bit late to it, and then you want to chase it on the way up here, especially when you're running up to resistance here. You kind of had to be in right here at the 70s or even better for that to work. But anyways, I didn't catch that one, and so it was just set sideways in this one. And no point of trying to aggressively trade it when it's not doing anything. So it's kind of sitting on your hands at that point. Nasdaq, the same story there. A couple of trades on the Nasdaq, up $4 on that, but that was pretty much just shakeouts. That's happened there. It's a little bit too volatile. The first, I think, the trades I took on that one is up here. I had one trade here when it was breaking out. One added one to it and got shaken out of that thing. I tried another short trade. No, sorry, that was a long trade, and I got shaken out of that one. So kind of ended up being net result was just pretty much a scratch day. So four trades, $4, nothing much to brag about that. So too volatile. I didn't do anything after they ran out of gas here, just going flopping around here. I haven't tried to trade it at all. So two range bound markets, I would say that I would keep the bias to the upside, would favor the long side going into next week's trading. They haven't leaned into the short side by any means, so definitely an opportunity for potentially further extensions to the upside. But it wasn't going to happen today, that's for sure. Now, the last thing I did a couple of bond trades, and the last update I was talking about the bond trade I was in already. This morning I started out. I had a nice set. They ran it up here. They were actually at the level there. I mean, it's not the level I had marked up, but they ran up in Z period. They were right against that print over here, and I got short against that guy because the market kind of stalled there. So and that was this short right there. So it stalled 3 bars, didn't go anywhere. I got short. I got filled on the fourth bar, and then these guys ran it exactly 4 ticks higher, stopped me out, and then right back down. And that was the high tick of the day. Are you kidding me? Absolutely frustrating. So that was down 125 bucks right from the get-go there. So I'm sitting here watching it, and this whole stuff in the middle, nothing to trade. Then they had this big run down here into the London close. I couldn't. That's something you don't want to chase, but it's interesting though that they did run it down to the lower end of the range. So after they couldn't retest that low, and they're sitting here, you can see how that low they can't take it below 14 again. I put in a limit order and sat in there for a good 10, 15 minutes before it filled me at 14. Sat in that thing and look at it. I've been sitting in that thing from 12:20 till I got out at 15:20. So about 3 hours I've been sitting in that trade. And it just didn't go anywhere. And I figured like, okay, as long as it's not going lower, I have a shot at then start retracing this thing. So I sat with my 4 tick stop, and they finally, late in L period, started moving higher, slowly. And they came up here to the 19s. I had a working limit here at the 21s, and I had that in there from the beginning. So in case they popped a quick pop, I would have been able to get filled being early on that limit and that price level. But so far, I haven't ticked there, and we're getting really late in the day, so nothing to do with that. So I got impatient here, getting close to this 3:30 time frame. So I got out of that trade, and they did right when I went out, they ticked a little bit higher, and then one tick higher. I could have gotten one tick better fill if I had a working limit at the 19s, but I got out at 18s instead. So I got my 4 ticks back, and the reason is really because I mean, I could try to sit in this one for longer, but if you're sitting here, you're down 125 bucks. You're up 125, so you're break even, and I'm not losing any money, but it's stalling. So now your choice is really, you want to go for it, or do you want to just take what you got and then go back and fight another day? So I took what I had instead of kind of sitting here and trying to run it into the close on a Friday afternoon. And as you can tell, so far they have not ticked up at 21. But if they do tick up to 21, and well, at least 500 contracts there, that would probably have filled me. But at this point, they're not there yet. They look like they're stalling pretty good. So, and the worst that could happen if they do start trading down and you give back up your little advantage, that would be even worse. So, one winner or one loser this morning, one winner. I had to sit in for quite a while. And so I'm back to zero on the bonds on 2 trades. And that's the bond markets. You had to be patient, you had to wait for the setup, and you had to be willing to sit in it. Now, this sucked sitting and twisting in a wind like this. But when you're down here and they can't extend, at one point chances are pretty high that they're going to retrace it. I left that on the table a couple of days back. You saw that thing if you not paid attention. I sat in that trade and they retraced it almost across the whole range, but I was just not in the trade. I didn't take it. But this one I took, and I sat in it, and I sat in it for 3 freaking hours before it actually got me back to zero. And I would say I wish I could have it could have popped just a little bit more when they had the momentum going here, but it's going to do what it's going to do. So at one point you had to make make the call if you're going to take it or not. So one winner, one loser on the bonds, back to zero. So right now I'm pretty much down 70 bucks on the ES, and that's about it. And I'm not going to be able to make that back given what the market is doing now. So probably just going to leave this right now. So there you have it. That's what I did so far today. Light volume trading day, not completely untradeable, I had to say, but getting low ticked on this morning. That's kind of high ticked on the bond, then low ticked on the ES. That really set the stage for some choice words to be spoken. Anyway, it is a Friday afternoon, and I'm going to wrap it up right now. So you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday, and then we'll go at this whole thing again. All right, guys, later.